Hello, and welcome to COVID Confessions. This episode, we interview Jackie Wager, parent of a child enrolled in Upper Mississippi Academy. Jackie was excellent to talk to, and she offered some really nice views on the topic of COVID-19. Unfortunately, we were not able to record in a completely quiet location, and we ended up having a dog along with us for the start and ending of the recording. We tried our best to make the episode more listenable, but there's only so much that I could do as an amateur editor. Regardless, I hope you enjoy the episode. All right. So we are here with Jackie. Hi, Jackie. Just to let you all know as well, there is a dog roaming around the house, Scrappy. So if the dog makes noise, sincerest apologies. But start off with Jackie, if you could give us your name, pronouns, relation to the school system, and then as well, how long has your student been attending school, or
Sure.
UMA, rather?
So I'm Jackie Wager, her, she. Alex has been at UMA since 6th grade, so all through middle school and high school.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's 6 years.
Yeah,
And
I've been that long too.
was there another part? Did I miss something on the end of that?
Just your relation to the school system, but
Yeah.
Oh, parent.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was on the PTO for the first couple years.
Oh wow.
Things like that, but
Mhm.
that got busy with work and such, so
Yeah.
didn't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fair.
How was working on the PTO at UMA?
Not as fun as it was in elementary school.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It was a very eclectic group of parents, which was fine, but then you had some very eclectic and not so interested staff at the time, so it made it just difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally fair.
Fair.
Well,
Prior to the pandemic, how was your experience as a parent, kind of like dealing with the school staff and admin at UMA?
Yep, so admin were great. They have always been great, which is nice, even though they've changed a lot.
Yeah.
The middle school principal was excellent. He helped with a lot of issues because middle school is a very hard time for all kids
Mm-hmm.
and staff, who we had some at the time who went left and went back to be high school teachers because they couldn't handle middle school. And
yeah.
unfortunately, our kids were during their time of figuring out they didn't or shouldn't be middle school teachers. So
Yeah.
I had some challenging times
Mhm.
with some of the staff. Some of the staff, like Mr. Adams,
Mhm.
was amazing.
Mr. Adams has always been amazing.
Yeah, and for middle school, before COVID for me, that people like him were great, and the other ones we had lots and lots of emails. I'm sure
Mhm.
couple of them they'd seen my name come across and go, oh crap, and then go from there. But there was a lot of adjustment going into middle school. It's very different, and there was not a lot of patience in the beginning. I mean, we did look at or think about if we wanted to even stay there, but literally 9th grade was a whole different ball game for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're here obviously through 12th grade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel, I don't know, satisfied with that decision to
Absolutely.
yeah?
Yep.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah. So through 9th grade, of course, is when the pandemic started. When that happened, what were some immediate changes that you and Alex had to make to accommodate COVID guidelines?
Well, my husband still was out in the field, so he still left every day. So we had to, of course, take precautions with that. Alex and I both were here. He had to go to school. I had to do work. And we had to find spaces. Luckily, we had an internet setup already. So we were good. We had computers for everybody already.
Yeah.
So it was more getting camera ready, being able to get printers and documents and homework and stuff. And here he comes.
There's the puppy.
And then that was some of the very most immediate, and then dealing with the, this is kind of scary. This is,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people dying, and unfortunately for me, I knew actually a number of people who died within the first 3 to 4 months of this, so it was hard. Alex didn't know them as well, but he's obviously seen me know them and
Yeah.
doing that. So that was the most immediate, was trying to find space for both of us that would work
Yeah.
and still be close enough. I mean, he could close the door and have school, but I was still close enough that he could, hey, something's not working.
Yeah.
Because it was brand new technology that you guys were using
Yeah.
for
Absolutely.
the first time. So how do I do Teams? How do I do a Zoom? How do I run a camera? All that fun stuff. So that's the most immediate, I would say, was that. So sorry, guys.
No, that's
It's okay.
fine.
He's so sweet.
Very sweet boy.
Yeah, so you talked a little bit about like setup was pretty simple for you guys because you, I think, were
We had
already you already had the internet and like computers and all the resources to do that. So how were there any difficulties at all with like
Most of the difficulties was the staff at UMA were not as familiar with these things either.
Mm-hmm.
So they were having trouble sending out documents, sending out the invites, sending out things that were working on time. And my background's tech, so I actually helped a number of the teachers
Wow.
to get things set up when it wasn't coming across. I'm like, I don't know how to do this, and I'm like, this is Alex's mom. Do this so
Yeah.
you can share out and you can throw things. So, I mean, everybody was. It kind of knew it was coming, but they didn't take or have the ability to train them
right.
on how to do all of these things that they didn't necessarily do in their day-to-day life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So that's probably was the hardest, was getting documents here, getting them printed so that homework could be done, and then scanning them back in so that they could get it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a rough process.
It was
Yeah.
lots of growing pains in that time.
And again, because we're tech, as you can tell, in this household, we had a little bit of an advantage for training Alex, but that's all there is. And I know that a number of his friends had some issues and struggled
Yeah,
through that time.
definitely.
Absolutely.
As the pandemic progressed, what changes did you like start to see in Alex?
Boredom. Lots and lots of boredom, because you're not in, even though you guys were attending school,
Yeah.
you were not attending school all day long.
Yeah.
You were attending school at certain times, usually in the morning for a
Yeah.
block, and then you're supposed to have teacher time, right? Later on.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to come about at all.
Yeah.
And keeping him interested, because all the assignments went way down, all the things you had to do went way down.
Yeah.
So it was like he was on break, but we couldn't go do anything
Yeah.
to keep busy, and there was a lot of boredom.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then it got frustrating because it's like, why should I do my homework? Why should I do things like that? And you're like, oh, you still got to do it, huh?
Yeah.
Kiddo, it just is part of it.
Mhm.
I don't want to be on the camera. I know you don't want to be on the camera, but it's a
Yeah.
requirement for this one class. And that was, I think, even with us with work, we did find that if you didn't require the cameras to be on
Yeah.
at all times,
Mm-hmm.
you lost people. I mean,
Yeah.
even us, we could find other things to do while we're sitting in a meeting.
Yeah.
But if the cameras are on, if you're like this, working on something, they can see that.
Yeah.
And so you can draw them back in. And that was one thing the teachers didn't require the cameras to be on.
Yeah.
And I think that caused learning to be to suffer a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Were there any specific like courses or subjects that you think would have or like needed to have more of like a rigorous schedule? Like I know math and sciences were really hit hard by COVID.
I was just thinking math
Yeah.
myself
Mhm.
and science, because those
Mhm.
are, there's a lot of show your work
Mhm.
and such. Well, when it's all via computer,
Mhm.
and again, you don't have necessarily the teacher standing up in class
Mhm.
Mhm.
doing things or being able to come over and talk it through
Mhm.
as easily. Now, the second year, your 10th grade year, where you
Mhm.
guys were all at home again for
Yes.
the full year for the most part. Some people got in at the very end, but
Mhm.
most of them
Yeah.
just said, no, we'll just wait.
Yeah.
There was a lot more interaction. So
Mhm.
there was definite improvement
Yeah.
over the summer
Mhm.
from the all of a sudden.
Mhm.
There was
Mhm.
just nobody was prepared for that.
Right.
To this. But as I feel not only is it prepared now if we happen to have it again,
Mhm.
but this is something, as I told you,
Yeah.
you can take to the schools can literally take to students who have to be home for some reason. Is there an injury? Is there an illness? Is there a family situation?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? This child does not need to fall behind.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They could stay up. We have the tools.
Mhm.
I will say I was highly surprised at all your snow days that were not
Yeah.
e-learning days this year.
We were too.
Yeah.
Because everybody's prepared and
Yeah.
ready for that. Even if it's more the high schoolers than the middle schoolers,
Mhm.
same thing. You guys, and a lot of schools did e-learn.
Mhm.
Mhm.
UMA did not.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an interesting decision.
Yeah, it definitely was. Did COVID kind of affect the way that you interacted with the school, like with staff and all that?
Well, there's a certain administrator who is no longer the head administrator, but she's still there, who does not communicate well. So
Yep.
we had lots of issues with emails not being answered.
Yeah.
So I went to Miss Norman.
Yeah.
She is
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
And she did a
Mhm.
great job of keeping, even, she was advisory, but she still answered questions,
Yeah.
or she went to the teachers on our behalf
Mhm.
to find out answers and
Yeah.
to say, hey, how can we do this? Or she got on a call with me, with them,
Mhm.
and said, can we do something?
Yeah.
Or can we expand a little bit? So if
Mhm.
somebody is done early and is sitting there for the next 60 minutes,
Mhm.
can there be a next step? Can they ask for more and actually have it prepared?
Yeah.
And some of the teachers were very willing to do that,
Mhm.
which was great. Some not so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was my go-to gal, let me
Yeah.
tell you. And she got things done. It might have taken her a day or two to get to
Yeah.
it, because emails were what everybody was getting a ton of at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she did it.
Yes.
And I knew if I copied her in on something, it would eventually get worked out quicker than if it was just to someplace. Let me get that out of your way.
Yeah.
Individual teachers,
Mhm.
Mhm.
again, I
Yeah.
know they're being inundated. I got that.
Mhm.
However, the question wasn't fluff. There was a need of something. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
response is a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's gotten better since we've like moved to in person this year, or do you think it's still really lacking?
Well, for some, it still has some issues, but I would say that all of the teachers the last 2 years
Mhm.
have been extremely responsive, as have the You know,
Mhm.
both Miss Norbin last year, and now that she changed her position,
Yeah.
we got Chris this year, and he's been great.
Yes.
As he says, I don't know the answer, but I'll ask all around. And that's when I started CCing in Miss Norbin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and between the two of them, we'd get the
Mhm.
answers pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think that the school could have done better through the pandemic in like supporting students and especially Alex and helping communicate with yourself?
I think it's gonna be it's one of those things that there are just some people who are used to communications and some that are not.
Mhm.
And I'm in a industry that everything is either in email or
Mhm.
such. So I'm required to respond to an email in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I probably was expecting that out of here and didn't get it. So
Yeah.
it was a little surprising to me at the time, but then I had to back up and go, wait a minute, this is not their normal way of communicating. They have to learn that
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
But I would say that it should be, given teachers are busy, they're not sitting at their computers like I am all day,
Mhm.
I still would expect a response, at least a response within 48 to 72 hours of saying,
Yeah.
I'm going to look at it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great
Absolutely.
question, I'll follow up.
Yeah.
Just so that I know, did you get it? And I'm not bugging you either.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that would be the one thing, is if there was a SLA service, type
Mhm.
thing that could be set to the teachers, saying, hey,
Yeah.
if you get some emails from parents,
Mhm.
respond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely.
How well informed do you think you stayed with the decisions that the school was making? You talked more about like the private interactions between like you trying to find out
Mhm.
things from teachers, but there were definitely multiple times when there were like mass school emails sent out about like COVID waves or new possibilities for like meeting in person or doing hybrid learning. Did you feel like those were enough to keep you updated with like the fact that the school was still working through all of this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did a good job on the mass updates.
Yeah.
I think that was good. Plus, the school is great. It has an email
Yeah.
that comes out once a month, but it
Mhm.
used to come out during that time they were sending it out
Yeah.
weekly.
Yes, they were.
Mhm.
So absolutely, and they kept their website up, and
Yeah.
then they've added since then Instagram and Facebook. I mean,
Mhm.
they're using all the different social medias that not everybody's
Mhm.
on,
Yeah.
but between that and texting, good lord, I got texts and phone calls this year for the first time.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I know there's a snow day. Great, thank you. But
Yeah.
whenever there was snow coming in, it would ring at like 10:30 at night. I'd be like, oh, I bet I know what that is. And I'd be like, yep, walk in, go turn your alarms off.
Yeah. You get a lot of notification now.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, I think they're doing a really good job, and I still
Mhm.
saw people complaining this year. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mhm.
that's just because their information at the school was not up to date.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't keep things up to date, you're not going to get notified. But yes, they have continually done that, and that kind of notification is great.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is they only do like the month they're in
Mhm.
versus what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be really nice to have what's coming, even
Mhm.
though, yes, we could go online and look at the calendar,
Mhm.
but that is one wish that I've always wanted, is like, yes, this is the most immediate, but do the
Mhm.
next month in advance, so it kind of not like, oh, there we
Yeah.
go, I missed that, or it's coming.
Yeah.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. What were some ways that you were able to kind of like support Alex through the pandemic as a parent?
Well, luckily, we were able to, between John and I, we could do homework support.
Yeah.
There are not all parents can do that.
Yeah.
But we were, between the two of us, we actually have the strong suits on all sides.
Oh,
So
good.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keeping him engaged. Now we're single, child home.
Mm-hmm.
So that was easier to probably pay attention and be on top of anything if there were mood swings or there was something going on. And I'm not afraid to ask questions of my child, and probably more than he ever wants to know. But, I share as well, so thoughts and feelings and all of that is not an unusual place. It might be one that my son goes, oh, yes, okay, let's talk about this again. But that wasn't new. Did we have a whole lot more time for all of that? Sure. Now we did a lot of driving around since you couldn't go do anything somewhere. We drove a lot, and then we had conversations with that, and we would. You guys know D&D. I actually
dove into it.
we jumped into his campaign, and we would. That's how we do it. I mean, actually, it was years too. Hey, we're having trouble coming up with an idea of what to do when they get here. I got to do some of that with him. So
oh, that's fun.
that was learned about that. We did a lot of game playing.
Yeah.
Learned a lot of different games, but. And then we had a puppy. We got a puppy right before COVID.
Oh, thank God.
It was new for us. But so we did. As far as supporting him, we could, I think, do as good a job as you can.
Yeah.
Without missing, hopefully, too many cues. Was trying to really stay on top of that for all of us. And I think I have listened to a number of other parents, not just UMA, but my friends and stuff, whose children had a ton of anxiety and stuff through this. And we didn't have that feeling. I mean, because, we're very close to the whole shootings and what went on Lake Street. I mean, they literally walked down to the station. We had to pull, all that was going on too with George Floyd. I mean, it was 10 blocks away from here. So when all of that was going on, did I have suitcases in the car ready to go to my father-in-law's in Wisconsin? Yes, I did. Because I'm like, okay, we got to leave the city because they're going nuts around here. Now that was more scared. Now I did ask Alex, are you scared? Are you worried? He goes, nope. Because I know you'll protect me. More than you guys probably want to know. So that was, I think that was scary on its own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Add to the fact that you're already in a scary situation. So we kind of went through that, and I know at one point he was on phone with all of you guys that were close and doing it. He's coming out and asking me questions, and then going back and sharing with you guys.
Absolutely.
So there were a number of 1:30 calls I remember with that, because I'm usually asleep way early. Okay, I'm coming. Let me open my eyes a second, but
absolutely.
We changed camera angles so we could catch our neighbors' yards and our yards to help, because we have a lot of single older ladies in the neighborhood. Just things like that. But that's the support, is let them know
Absolutely.
that we're here and we'll do what we need to keep everybody safe, not only from COVID, but the other.
Yes.
Just the chaos of 2020.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. Absolutely. Chaos of 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. It was rough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How were your interactions with like other parents at the school? I know at least I think you're pretty close with quite a few families within the school.
Yeah.
Did you notice any like changes on their behalf about like how they felt about, you know, keeping their students enrolled or
Not per se because of COVID. I will say one, she pulled him out and then realized that was not a great thing.
Yeah.
For homeschooling didn't work as well as she thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he is back and did come back. But there was a lot of high anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But again, a lot of the ones that had that, again, had lots of kids.
Yeah.
Your mom
Yes.
with multiple kids
Mm-hmm.
at all ages
Yeah.
Yeah.
made a whole lot harder on them
Mm-hmm.
than it did on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was able to focus
Mm-hmm.
on one.
Yeah.
I wasn't having to focus and figure out 4 different ways of maybe telling me I need help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. Kind of looking now after the pandemic, what are like any lasting changes or effects that you've seen on Alex?
Well, lasting changes and effects. I would say the only thing is everybody is a lot more conscious. If somebody
Yeah.
is coughing
Mm-hmm.
or sick, you know,
Yeah.
wear your mask. You stay away.
Mhm.
Or if you feel like there's a lot going on around you,
Yeah.
you know, at this day and age, we all have masks in our pockets or purses or cars.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
Yeah.
a change.
Mm-hmm.
I still, and we all do, you get back in the car after being in a store and everybody's, I got sprays for the
Yes.
sanitizer companies are making a killing and they're going to keep making one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say he wasn't always a great like hugger or things like that, not like me, so that's nothing really changed there. Wanting to go out and do stuff, I mean, that's not as much as he used to.
Yeah.
I'd get a lot more, yeah, I'm gonna stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Because he got used to being home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now I gotta do the mom voice. Nope, we're going.
Yes. I think that's something my parents experienced with all of us as well. Yeah.
You just wanted to, you're used to staying at home.
Yeah.
Okay, why leave?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And then once you guys got back to school, I'd be like, okay, let's go do stuff.
Yeah.
And Alex was actually the one to point out because nobody wanted to do anything. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
man, stinks. And he's like, Mom, you're home all day long.
Oh. Yeah.
And we're not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come home, they're ready to be home.
Yeah.
That's when actually we decided to get me off the kitchen dining room table and we made an office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is my go to the office.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's my house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one thing that even in my brain and his too, we had to separate work, school, and then home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because we were able to find a spot that we could all be at that wasn't part of the house
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
in a living situation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Has that continued to help you? Sort of like having that separation between like this is my work area and this is my home.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot better because then I don't feel like I need to get out of the house.
Yeah. Okay.
Now I just shut this down
Mm-hmm.
and we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No?
Do you have anything else you'd like to talk about before we're done?
In regards to this, I think what you're doing is a great thing. I truly think you can take it further
Mm-hmm.
and help not only post-COVID things, but what's coming up, because COVID's not the first pandemic that kids had to get sent home from school.
Yeah.
I mean, even when my mom was a kid with polio, the kids worked, but it was only a few cities, Milwaukee and Washington and a few other cities, that they actually had all the kids sit down in front of the old radio. And that's how they got their stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be something that's not going to happen again. So all we can do is go from here and get better.
Awesome.
At it and keep with our technologies improving. Hopefully the schools will keep up with that, because that's where it's going to be at, and how fast they can do it and utilize it for snow days and such.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you very
This
much.
was very insightful.